Hi, my name is Andy Field and I am an artist who makes live performances, but not the kind of live performances generally that happen on a stage with an audience sat watching. My performances involve the audience being very active. They often happen outside or in unusual non-art spaces, like on rooftops. And the thing that I'm particularly interested in is experiences that invite people to interact with the people around them and the world around them in a slightly different way. The thing that gets me most excited is the idea of being able to change the way that people look at the world around them. I may not have the power to be able to actually change the world, to knock down buildings and build new buildings and to redirect the way that roads go. And I'm not an architect, I'm not a city planner, I'm not the Prime Minister, but I do sometimes have the power to be able to change the way that people see the world. And that's a really exciting and really profound thing for me. My favorite thing that I have done is a project called Lookout. And this project I made with my partner, Becky, and we would travel to a town or a city and meet a group of children, 9 or 10-year-old children, and we would invite them to imagine how they think that their town or city will be different many years in the future. And then they share those imaginings with an audience through a one-to-one encounter, which means one of the children we work with speaking to one adult at a time, a very intimate conversation that takes place high up, overlooking the whole of the town, so that they're having this very deep and interesting conversation about the place they live whilst looking out over it, all laid out before them. So a lot of my work has been inspired by a group of artists in New York in the 1960s and 1970s who were sort of a little bit like some of them theatre makers, some of them dancers, some of them visual artists. But what they all had in common was that they were trying to kind of break and remake what even counted as art. So they were making, getting a group of people together to build a house made out of ice on a hilltop. Or they were making performances where people were running around on the streets of New York, or people were dancing on the rooftops of New York. And all of these experiments were really attempts at saying, what even is art? What even counts as art? Where can art happen and who is art for? And that really inspired me. I did not study theatre or art at university. I did not even study it at A level. But whilst I was at university, I spent a lot of time hanging out in the university student theatre, and that's where I got interested in live performance, and everything that I've done has really sort of led from there. The advice that I would give to anyone who is thinking of starting out like me, I suppose, is don't wait for anyone in charge to give you the permission to do the things you want to do. That's it. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait to be told your work is good by somebody else. Just make space for yourself. So I've done all sorts of jobs and continue to do all sorts of jobs. Sometimes I'm a producer, sometimes I make art, sometimes I'm sort of a teacher. I'm running workshops for children. I do a lot of writing. I've just written a book. I've made podcasts before for people. So really, but for me, those things are all part of the same thing, which really is fundamentally about getting people to look again at the world and to sort of look at it from a different perspective. And you can do that in so many different ways. And so I don't see any conflict or any tension between those different things. I really love that there's all these different possible ways in which you can make a difference in the world. So my challenge to you is, using a phone, either film yourself or record yourself interviewing your future self about what it's like to have been alive in the year 2020. So imagine that you are 50 years in the future, that it's the year 2070, and you are interviewing yourself 50 years in the future, trying to remember what it was like to be alive today. And so you might want to ask questions like, what's your strongest memory of the year 2020? And what has changed since then? Those kind of questions. Good luck, and thank you very much for listening.